Rule 2 definitions. The General Financial Rules, GFR, 2017 is a set of rules and guidelines issued by the Department of Expenditure, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, that govern the financial management of the government. These definitions are relevant under these rules, unless the context otherwise requires. Some of the key definitions under the GFR 2017 include: competent authority means, in respect of the power to be exercised under any of these rules, the President or such other authority to which the power is delegated by or under these rules, delegation of financial power rules or any other general or special orders issued by the Government of India. Controlling officer means an officer entrusted by a department of the central government with the responsibility of controlling the incurring of expenditure and/or the collection of revenue. The term shall include a head of department and also an administrator. Drawing and disbursing officer means a head of office and also any other gazetted officer so designated by a department of the central government, a head of department or an administrator, to draw bills and make payments on behalf of the central government. The term shall also include a head of department or an administrator where he himself discharges such function. Head of the department means an authority or person, not below the rank of a Deputy Secretary to the Government of India, declared by the concerned department in the Government of India as a head of department in relation to an identifiable establishment or establishments to exercise the delegated financial powers under these rules. Head of office means a gazetted officer declared as such in the delegation of financial powers rules, and b any other authority declared as such under any general or special orders of the competent authority. Appropriation. Appropriation in general financial rules refers to the process of allocating funds for specific purposes within a government or organization's budget. It involves setting aside a specific amount of money to be used for a particular program, project, or activity. In government financial rules, the process of appropriation typically involves the legislature or other authorized body passing a budget that outlines how much money will be allocated to various government departments, agencies, and programs. This budget is usually broken down into specific appropriations, which represent the amount of money that has been set aside for particular purposes. Appropriation in general financial rules is important for ensuring that government and organizational resources are used in a responsible and effective manner. By setting aside specific funds for particular purposes, decision makers can ensure that programs and projects have the resources they need to succeed, while also providing accountability and transparency in the use of public funds. Unit of appropriation is a term used in the General Financial Rules, GFR, which is a set of guidelines issued by the Indian government for financial management. In the GFR, the unit of appropriation refers to the smallest unit of appropriation for which a separate budget is prepared and accounts are maintained. For example, in a government department, different programs or activities may require separate funding. The unit of appropriation in this case would be each individual program or activity that requires a separate budget allocation and accounting. The concept of the unit of appropriation is important in financial management as it helps to ensure that funds are allocated and accounted for in a clear and transparent manner, and that they are used only for the intended purpose. Primary unit of appropriation. The primary unit of appropriation in the General Financial Rules, GFR, refers to the smallest unit of financial allocation in the government budget. It is typically defined as the level at which a separate vote is taken in the parliament for the purpose of making the expenditure. In India, for example, the primary unit of appropriation in the GFR is generally the grant, which refers to the amount of money allocated for a specific purpose, such as a particular program or scheme. Each grant is assigned a unique identification number, which is used to track its utilization and ensure accountability. The GFR provides detailed guidelines for the preparation and execution of the government budget, including rules for the allocation, release, and utilization of funds at the primary unit of appropriation level. It aims to promote efficiency, transparency, and accountability in public financial management, while ensuring compliance with relevant laws and regulations. Secondary unit of appropriation. Sometimes we divide a detailed head of account into smaller units, e.g. the detailed head contingency is divided into OA, TE, POL, etc. In such cases, detailed head is treated as primary unit of appropriation, while as OA, TE, POL are treated as secondary unit of appropriation. Reappropriation is a term commonly used in financial management and budgeting. It refers to the process of transferring funds from one budgetary item to another within the same budget, or from one fiscal year to another. This can happen for a variety of reasons, such as a change in priorities, unexpected expenses, or changes in project scope. In general, financial rules, reappropriation can be subject to certain restrictions and guidelines, depending on the specific regulations governing the budget in question. For example, in some cases, reappropriation may only be allowed for certain types of expenses or may be subject to a cap or limit on the amount that can be transferred. In addition, reappropriation may also be subject to certain reporting requirements, such as providing justification for the transfer and documenting how the funds were used. This is to ensure transparency and accountability in the use of public funds. Administrative departments, HOD, controlling officers are authorized to make reappropriation after observing codal formalities. Cases where reappropriation is not permissible in general financial rules. Reappropriation refers to the transfer of funds from one budget head to another within the same financial year. While reappropriation is generally allowed under certain circumstances, there may be cases where it is not permissible in general financial rules. Here are some examples. Exceeding budget ceiling. Reappropriation cannot be done if it exceeds the budget ceiling, which is the maximum amount that can be allocated to a particular budget head. If the amount being transferred exceeds the ceiling, then reappropriation is not permissible. Restricted expenditure. Reappropriation cannot be done for expenditures that are restricted or have specific earmarks. For instance, if funds have been allocated for a specific program, those funds cannot be reappropriated to another program. Appropriation type. Reappropriation is not permissible for funds allocated under certain appropriation types such as capital expenditures or grants. These funds are usually set aside for specific purposes and cannot be reappropriated for other uses. Time limit. Reappropriation cannot be done after a certain period of time has passed. In some cases, there may be a specific time limit for reappropriation, after which it is not permissible. Legal restrictions. Reappropriation may not be permissible if there are legal restrictions in place. For example, certain laws may prohibit the transfer of funds from one budget head to another. It is important to note that the rules around reappropriation may vary depending on the specific financial rules in place in a particular organization or government. If you enjoyed the content of this video, click the subscribe button so you can receive more content like this every week. Thank you for watching.